And so we spent the weekend just passing knowledge around, not just to the attendees, but amongst each other. And another amazing thing happened, which doesn't happen at cons we go to, is the entire group of artists from around the world. We all hung out together nonstop.
You know what's funny, Shawn, is that you're describing, we're both describing like the camaraderie as the best thing that happened. And I think that Eric inside is dying.
I think he has us on mute. I don't even think he's hearing us anymore. Look at him. Look at him. He's not even hearing us.
Are you hearing?
I think you guys are done, right? Are you still talking?
This is the Inkpulp podcast.
Oh, by the way, guys, Happy New Year. Since this episode's coming out,
way after,
in January.
It's the future. We're in the future now.
So, yeah.
Dude, I feel like, how was your first $1 million in the first couple of months that you guys made in 2024? So I don't know if you guys know this, but I think it was Matteo who basically bullied me into, bullied probably isn't the right word. Matteo doesn't know how to bully. Suggested what? He suggested very sternly. He was like, hey, once in a while,
right.
If that whenever our posts go live, or whenever our episodes go live, you could put it on your social media. I don't know. You're kind of like, passive aggressive about it. You're like, I don't know. Maybe you could put it to your 100,000 fans, blah, 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 blah. And I thought about that. And I thought like, Matteo's right. If the episodes do go live, I should put it on my social media. And I realized, wait, assuming that I have a social media. So instead of like accommodating what you said, which is putting it on my social media, I just shut down my social media so I don't have to do any of that. So 2024, I'm not even online anymore. So yeah.
No.
So you have no social media at all? Like there's no
he has it. Clarify, Eric. Clarify.
Yeah. No, I just decided I didn't want to deal with being online anymore because there's a lot of stuff that's going on where I'm like, I'm getting too hung up on all of this. Like, even as much as I curate my timeline and my experience, inevitably it'll come sneaking back in because naturally people are people and they're going to want to talk about what they want to talk about. And I particularly don't care for it. So I just go like, okay, this is getting tiresome. But because it's the latest, hottest thing, people will continue talking about it no matter what. And I'm like, I'm not up for that. And on top of that, there's a presidential election coming up next year. And I suspect between like the time it turns 2024 and the time the elections actually do happen, I'm just going to be inundated with people's opinions about politics and blah, blah. I'm there to see art.
When you say inundated, just to help me understand, do they contact you privately? What happens?
No, they'll just, these are the people that I know for sure, like 3 years out of 4, right? They're just talking about art and process and, publishing and whatever. And on all different scales, like from self-publishing, creator-owned stuff to like mainstream publishing. They're talking anything about that. Something happens during the election cycle where they just start talking about everything else. There's all this stuff that I didn't follow you for, So I said, like, I don't care about I'm not there to, obviously it's their social media. They can do with it whatever I want. So that's not within my control. I have to understand that comes with the territory. But instead of going like, well, maybe I'll just deal with this for a year until everybody shuts up again. Heaven forbid the guy who they don't like gets into office and then there's another 6 months worth of that stuff. So I'm getting away from that. So I decided I'm just going to put everything on my website.
And by the way, the guy that you vote for, right? Huh? Wink, wink.
Yeah.
But okay,
I want to go.
But by the way, practically, so what the fuck are you doing? Sorry, I forgot the last part. So did you you're not looking at it? You're not posting anything because you can still post and do what I do. I just post stuff and I don't look at anything.
No, first of all, I uninstalled it from all of my devices, right? At first I was limiting it. I was actually telling the mobile device, hey, if I'm on this social media app more than 5 minutes, more than 10 minutes, you need to cap it, and basically stops you from accessing that unless you put in a code. So it's one more step to get in there, right? Like a crack addict, basically. So
yeah, that's in my head. It was immediately like me at the table with a lot of food in front of me. All right,
with a lot of cheese.
The same thing.
A table full of cheese.
So instead of that, I uninstalled it from my phone. Right, all social media. Right. And then I handed over the keys to a social media manager. So I gave them access to it, and I said, you post in whatever frequency that you have. I'll give you a heads up if there's a particular project I want you to hype, that you can go in there and talk about my next book that's coming out potentially, or our projects that are coming up, or these episodes. I'll hand it all over to them and be like, you deal with it.
So he is gonna post the podcast teasers. Is that what you're saying?
I think I'm going to put the onus of that on them. So they'll be like, hey, if you missed it, don't fucking complain to me. That's not up to me.
Well, you're the manager. I mean, we're gonna complain to you.
It's actually the name of it is in his name, social media manager, Shawn.
But it's okay. But he's your subordinate. He is your employee. So we will go to the top to put our complaints in, and you can delegate.
Listen, you can go to the top, but I'm going to bump you to my voicemail, and you guys can reschedule as many times as you want.
Okay, so Matteo, moving forward, this is going to be a show all about politics for the next year.
Oh yeah, of course.
I'm going to leave this fucking show.
Hey, you want to leave now?
Let me not.
Let's make it. Spectacular.
I've been meaning to leave.
Spectacular fashion now.
Add one more fucking thing. Yeah. Add more politics into this conversation, and I'm fucking out. Hey, I want to take the opportunity to say, Matteo, you're fucking killing it with the weight loss, man. You look great.
I know.
You look amazing,
thanks,
dude.
Matteo's skinny.
You were just skinny. Joking about like having a ton of food in front, and I know that's food to you is like social media to, I don't know, I don't think it's social media, but you know what I mean? Like we all have our vices, and having a ton of food in front of you is a big deal. And the fact that you're sure. The fact that you said, hey, I'm going to limit this.
Eric, we were in Abu Dhabi. We had every meal was paid for at the hotel, which was a giant buffet. So I watched Matteo be good 95% of the time, all the temptation in front of him, and he held strong. So I was very proud of you.
Yeah, I was a naughty boy only at dinners because everybody was there. We were celebrating and blah, blah, blah. But other than that, no breakfasts. I mean.
Yeah.
Can you tell me this? When you get in, because it's relatively, how long have you been doing it, first of all?
A few months. I would say it started midsummer, something like that.
Okay. All right. So good. About June, 5, July?
6 months.
Okay. So here's the thing. I would say when July, you get in front of that kind of food, especially on vacation, because that's when we all cheat, kind of, right? When we all go out of town, we all indulge on a couple of dinners, breakfast, lunches, whatever it is.
Indulge.
What do you, now that you are 5 months deep, and this is one of your first big trips away, right? To away from your diet, right? Yep. What's the mechanism in your head that makes you go, I gotta not do that?
Well, the thing is that now the weight loss is real. Because I made it happen. Because it's more than almost like 20, not 30 pounds, but we're getting close to 30 pounds now. So it is so real that I don't want to fuck it up now. Because before, if I started and I just lost, I don't know, like 2 pounds, I'll be like, fuck it, 2 pounds. It took me 10 days. I'll do that again when I go back home. And now I don't want to fuck it up. So that's the main thing. And now the thing that is worrying me a little bit is that I feel like, at least visually, I feel like I'm losing some muscle mass on the upper body, which I wasn't the first couple of months. So I gotta see how to balance that, because I'm still going to the gym and I feel like my strength is still increasing, but I don't see it visually. I don't know. To me, it looks like I'm losing some muscle, but we'll see.
Might be a nutrition issue. That might be a nutrition issue. You might need more protein or something.
What I'm trying to do is
and what's a great source of protein, Mateo?
The thing that you love, yes. But the Shawn's diet is the new diet. People just drink like a gallon of egg whites in the morning. Well, it looks like that. More or less the same amount of protein, but
much higher in protein, brother. Much higher.
But what I'm trying to do is basically I cut off almost all the carbs or put them, I'm keeping down into a minimum, and I'm doing a lot of proteins and some fats. But apparently it's probably not enough protein. Like I gotta do some math. But
Are you, Mateo, are you taking creatine before your workout?
No, just how do you call it? Whey?
Yeah, I'll be right back.
The whey protein? Yeah. I would say add some creatine. You're going to see some good gains, like some good muscle building.
Creatine?
That stuff helps a tremendous amount. Creatine, and your workouts get better.
Which is?
Where did Eric go?
Right?
Yes, yeah, of course, always.
You're no matter what, you always drop me.
What's it?
You always point to come. Yes.
All signs point to come.
All right, Shawn, I'll start sucking dicks. All right.
Ah, there you go. That's it. That's all you got to do.
What happened, Eric?
All that. I'm just saying, Eric, congratulations on the freaking weight loss, dude. You look amazing.
Thank you.
But why'd you disappear? Did we offend you already?
No. Well, to be fair, you guys offend me all the time. So the fact that I don't often disappear should say a lot about my tolerance for your bullshit. I was just looking for something around the room.
Oh, okay. So I think today we should talk about our trip.
Okay.
To Abu Dhabi.
All right, we're 12 minutes in. Let's go.
We got a lot to talk about.
Do we?
Mateo, you want to kick it off?
No. You start. I'll.
Okay. The trip started off great. I was flying from Atlanta to JFK, and Stelfreeze was on my flight, and we were meeting up with Jason. And in the airport, we also bumped into Corin, who we had on the show, who was going to Abu Dhabi. And then we had our long ass flight to Abu Dhabi. And I had a few edibles with me to get me there. I knew once I landed in Abu Dhabi not to have any weed on me. So I ate it all. Jason had some, and we slept okay for the ride out there. Got there about 11 a.m. on Tuesday, and Mateo was arriving Wednesday evening. So we had all these plans for Wednesday, but we got there, and it was a luxurious hotel. The hotel was just all luxury, beautiful pool, and then there was also a beach club with a bar in the pool. So Jason and I went. We scheduled massages and just hung out at the pool. Did our thing. Got a beautiful hot stone massage. I never get massages. You guys ever get massages?
Yeah, from time to time. Yeah.
I need those in my life. Does that might help your shoulder, Eric? Have you tried that?
As much as you need cum in your life, right?
Massages, well, they kind of go hand in hand, right? We lost him again.
All right, Eric. I'll stop with the cum jokes.
All right, come on back. All right, here he is.
Come on back.
So,
come on my back.
So the next day, he's still going. So Ramon Perez was coming out too, and one of his studio mates, Dinesh, was coming out with him. He was another guest of the show, and Dinesh is from Dubai, so he knows the area. So he planned this whole Dubai trip on that Wednesday. He basically
was the Shawn for this trip.
Yeah, but Dinesh, he fell apart. It didn't hold together.
He tried to be the Shawn.
Tuesday, Jason.
There's only one.
He tried. It's not. There can be only one. So Tuesday, I kind of realized like I never get like some downtime, some nice time to chill and relax. And so when Ramon and Dinesh came in, I was like, "Hey guys, I think I'm going to bow out of the Dubai trip." I mean, I wrestled with it because it's like, this is my chance to see Dubai. I didn't know if I'd get another chance to see it. And Dinesh was like, okay, actually, I get it, because they were at the pool too. And they're like, yeah, let's just chill today. We'll do that on Monday. And there was a plan to go see the world's largest mosque on Monday. And he was like, we can do it all. I was like, all right. So we just sat at the pool and got drunk all day at the pool bar and had an amazing day. And then that evening, Matteo lands, and he gets to the hotel, and he's fucking skinny. I couldn't believe it, how much weight he lost. It's noticeable. Sorry. So Thursday was the desert safari, and that's where the story really starts. Actually, Matteo, do you want to start talking about it? So much happened that day. Let's start with Jason. Let's start with Jason. Do you remember? We were all in line. Like, they told us, be down to the lobby this time. We're all in line to get on the buses to get out there, and they pull. Jason's there too, and they're pulling us in groups of 6. And I'm with Matteo and Ramon and one of Ramon's other studio mates, Marcus Toe. And then out of nowhere, they need 6 in a car. There's 5 of us. Out of nowhere, they're like, who's the 6th person? We hear, I'm going with Ramon. And I don't, Eric, I think you know her, Pernille, who I had never met. Matteo, did you know her?
No, before that? Never met her before. She's amazing. Great.
I never met her.
Great to meet her. Yeah.
So much fun. She is so much fun. Oh, it was also the Massive guys, the 2 guys who run Massive Publishing.
Yeah,
Kevin and
Kevin. Yeah.
So we all get into the truck, and we're driving an hour out to the desert. And about 20 minutes in, I get a text from Jason. Where is everybody? I'm like, we're in the car. Where are you? He's like, I'm in the lobby. I mean, the last I saw, you were in line. So I was like, what the fuck happened? He's like, everyone left. I was like, where did you go? He's like, I had to poop. I was like, he's incredible. I was like, did you tell anyone?
Like,
so he had
one thing
text.
that nobody knows about Jason that we only know is that basically whenever he knows that he has to leave from point A to point B, he immediately starts, feeling the need of pooing immediately, because in his head he's probably scared about, oh my God, what if I have to poop during the trip? What's gonna happen? So every time he's got to leave somewhere, like 5 seconds when we decide, okay, are we going? Oh, hold on a second, I gotta poop. It's always that with him. It always happens.
It's the anxiety poop.
Yeah.
So he had to text Fletcher, who we found out there was a second wave of cars coming. So Jason got in the second wave. But for a minute there, I was just like, he's going to miss this amazing day. So we're in this car ride. It's in what was it? A 4Runner, Matteo?
I didn't check what kind of car it was, to be honest with you.
I'm pretty sure it was a 4Runner, and it had these really intense roll bars.
Oh, you mean the type of car? With a 4Runner, it means that all 4 wheels go, right?
That's the name of a Toyota. Toyota has an SUV called a 4Runner.
Okay.
It's like, there's a Honda CR-V.
I didn't check.
So I'm pretty sure it was a 4Runner, but it had, like, we get in the car, Matteo and I get in the way back. So there's a very back row where me and Matteo are kind of squished back there.
Yeah. So
then there's a middle row that has. Yeah. So right, exactly. And then there was a row of 3, and then there was Ramon in the passenger. So we get in and we're like, these are some serious roll bars. Didn't think anything about it. And we're driving out to the desert, getting to know everyone. And Pernille's kind of realizing she's in the right car, because me and Matteo are a hell of a lot of fun to be around. And then we get to the desert. Yeah, I know. Jamie, you got to show the reaction on that. Then we get to the desert, and we stop, and there's like a bunch of camels like in a fenced-in area, and they're like, oh, like cool camels. So we get out, we're all taking pictures with the camels, and I look back, and all of the drivers are letting air out of the tires. Now, I didn't know what we were doing. Apparently, we were doing something called dune bashing that day. I didn't know what that was. I assumed we were going to drive to a space, and we'd all get into those little quads and drive around in the quads, and that was dune bashing. Matteo, did you have any idea what was going to happen?
No, to be honest with you, like, in my complete ignorance, like, I thought the name of the whole experience was a desert safari. So to me, we had to walk, basically, and get to a place.
Oh, I didn't.
All right. So to me, that was just a car ride to a place, and from there on, we had to walk through something. I don't know what the fuck I was thinking, because it's a desert. There's nothing there. So I don't know what I was thinking.
I didn't have any idea. I didn't think I had no conception of what we were doing. I know that when we stopped to see the camels, it was pretty breathtaking because you're in the middle of just an ocean of sand and there's nothing around. And it was later in the day, so the sun wasn't intense. It was warm, but not blistering. It was really comfortable out. So I look back and I see the drivers. There's probably, what was there, about six
cars
that took us, with like 5 people each, and they're letting the air out of the tires, and I'm just like, that's peculiar. I was like, oh, maybe it helps with the driving in the sand. So they're like, all right, everyone, get back in the same car, same group of people. So we get back in, and we're driving like we were on hard packed sand, and now we're turning off like the packed sand road into the soft sand desert. And I'm in the back. I can see nothing. Matteo can see nothing. And all of a sudden, it just feels like we are sliding down the side of a massive dune. And that's exactly what we were doing. So we're just screaming. Matteo and I are like 2 little girls in the back seat screaming.
Yeah.
And so I start filming it, and that's what we have a clip of Matteo and my reaction.
Literal bones. What the Oh my god. All right. That's gonna be cool. That's gonna be cool. No. See, this is where I know I have that fight or flight thing, where I just go, I'm like totally calm, there's no fear. Look at the car. Yeah, it's so sick. It's not as bad when you see it from that angle.
It is horrible when you see it from that angle.
Yeah, it's fine.
So for the next like 5 or so minutes, we keep doing this, and it's exhilarating. It was like a roller coaster feeling, but you're in a car, so you're kind of scared, and now you're like, oh, I see what these roll bars are for. But we're laughing hysterically and screaming, and at this point, like everyone in the car, it's a good trauma bonding moment, I think. So then we stop for a second, and the driver's like, look out your the side of the car at the windows. Now, Matteo and I are in the back, so we didn't know what was going on. We turn around and we see the other cars doing it. And you're literally going over the cliff of a giant sand dune and sliding down like horizontal almost. And you feel like you're going to roll. So once we saw that, we're like, all right, this is what we're doing. And the fear kind of left, because I'm like, this driver does this every day. This is the tour.
And by the way, sorry to interrupt, Shawn, but I spoke to somebody recently about this experience, And this person was like, well, a friend of mine broke her neck during an accident doing that thing, doom bushing. And there's a lot of accidents during those things. So it's not something that I would recommend doing.
Okay, well, good to know now. Yeah. I'm glad I didn't know that ahead of time.
We were lucky.
Because I was literally like, I thought we were going to flip at certain points. I thought we were going to flip.
Yeah, that's what the roles
What were you thinking, Matteo?
Are there for?
Yeah.
In case something goes wrong.
Like, this is it. But so as we're doing this, I start to picture Jason. What is Jason experiencing right now? Because Jason doesn't like
probably it was a great idea to take a poop before leaving.
Yes. So we did that. It was a lot of fun. Ramon got footage because Ramon was in the passenger seat. So what Ramon saw was us creeping up the top of a dune and just seeing an edge. He couldn't see past it. And he's like, holy shit, we're going over this edge. So I have video of that too. So Ramon's vantage point was terrifying, but also to be in the back and just all of a sudden feel like you're falling was crazy. So that kind of got all our adrenaline up. We were having the best time. And then we get to, I guess I'll call it the camp, where we're going to spend the rest of the evening. And it's just like tents, like a little tent city. And there's a stage in the middle, and there's like tables all around, real low to the ground. And you're sitting on cushions, and there's like a tarp over the sand, like an inch thick tarp. And there's like a hookah area, which they call shisha. And there was a little bar area, and there was like an area to get like the robes and the scarves, and the guys like put it on you. So like Ramon and Juan Gideon got the scarf and had it wrapped around their head. And when we got there was activities, and there was the quads, the four wheel drive little quad vehicles, but the line for that was insane. Matteo and I looked at that. We're like, oh my God, that looks amazing. But we couldn't get on it. And then there was a camel ride, which you're like, that's lame. The camel just walks around in a circle. And then on the other side, people were sandboarding, like snowboarding on the dunes. And we got footage of Ramon just eating it, just head over heels, tumbling down this dune. Sand everywhere. Matteo, you're going to say something? Oh, where'd he go? We lost. Did you, Matteo, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
I lost your image. Oh, okay. Yeah, sometimes this podcast, I lose your image for a little while. Anything you want to add to what I'm laying down?
Oh, no. I just, it was fun because in the end, we decided to go with the camel. But when the camel gets up and when the camel goes down, it has this weird way that it just drops the front legs first, and then the front paws, I don't know how to fucking call them, his arms basically first, and then the legs.
Legs.
Yeah, the legs. Yeah. The back legs after. So you gotta really hold on to it because it's fucking weird. And in the end, I cursed, and the guy was super pissed at me because you don't curse to the camel because it's kind of a sacred animal. And I kept saying, fuck, the fuck. Oh, fuck, shit. So the guy was pretty pissed at me. Yeah.
Yeah, they told us, like people had mumbled to us when we were getting there, like, watch your cursing in the country here. It's not really acceptable. So watch your cursing. And, being around artists from around the world, we were like, oh, we're cursing.
Well, especially at the show when we had to do panels and stuff like that, they recommended us, like, there was a specific rule, really important.
Yeah, that was
rule.
Different.
Do not curse during the panels. Otherwise, there's a risk that you get deported and brought back to your country of origin immediately. Which is what. Yeah,
they were very serious about it in a family setting, and that's where the panels. They were like, do not curse at the show or in the panels because this is a family setting, and they take that pretty seriously. So we're a little scared. So Matteo, the camel drops. He goes, "Fuck!" And then the guy is like saying this, saying to Matteo, "Don't upset the animal. That is very rude." But so it was. They're big fucking animals. So when you're up on that thing, you're like, God, you're pretty high up. So when it goes down, you can't help but let out something. So we had our little camel ride. We drank some beers. Everyone's adrenaline is just going haywire from those dune bashing. And then we all kind of climbed up this one dune as the sun was setting. And it was just incredible. Like it cooled off instantly, almost became cold. And it was so calm and quiet. So we all just watched the sunset. And then they called us to the stage and they served like a giant barbecue, like kebabs and hummus and all kinds of goody stuff. And we were getting nice and toasty on the beer. And there was everything was
started
there.
to affect my bladder.
So this is where we're going. This is the climax of the story. So Matteo, we're going to get there. So Matteo, we go to the bathroom a few times. Matteo's peeing a little more than I'm used to seeing him have to pee. So we finish our dinner. The belly dancer comes out, does her dance, and another dancer comes out, does his dance. And then they're like, they light up the hookahs, and they're like, anyone who wants the shisha will go over to the corner. So Matteo and I go over there, and Javier Fernandez and Belen were there, the Spanish artists. So we were hanging out, and they said, everyone lay back and look up at the sky. We're going to turn the lights of the camp off. So they cut the lights, and it is absolutely black. You can't see anything except the glowing coals of the hookah. And then you look up, and there was like the sky was like a planetarium of stars. So that was pretty cool. So we do all that. Well, the hookah. Matteo, did you because you smoke? I'm curious how the hookah affected you when you.
No, not so much. It has a nice smell, but it was fine.
Yeah,
I already had it before in my life, so I knew what I was getting into.
Yeah, I've had it too, but I haven't had it like after a meal like that. And sitting out there, I felt it's so relaxing, and it was a great digestive. Like I really enjoyed that. So then they're like, all right, everybody get back with the group you came in with and get in one of the trucks. We're going to leave. So we get in the truck and they take you to the hard part of the sand.
It's buses because we're going through a different path.
I'm getting there.
Back to the thing.
Right. So the trucks take us to the hard packed sand where the buses are. So we get on a bus. Matteo and I are like the first on the bus. We just get in the back. And in the back of the bus is me, Matteo, Ramon, Pernille, who we mentioned before, and this girl named Sade, who's the Sade. She's the social media manager for Distillery Publishing. That thing that Becky and Jock and all them are working for. So we're in the back and we're having fun, and we haven't left yet. And Matteo's like, I gotta pee. I was like, all right, there's a whole desert around you, and so we're like, just go. Then we're like, wait a minute, but is that gonna offend anyone? So I don't. Matteo, you got off the bus, and did you ask someone where you?
Yeah. I asked I think it was the driver or still somebody who's helping with getting people into the buses. And I asked them, and it was like, "Plus the desert, just go wherever you want." So I did.
Okay, so no one was offended. So he did. No. Now, so here he's peed, and we're about to leave.
I actually peed on a camel.
Good to go,
and they wanted to kill me. I mean, it was in the dark. I didn't see it.
So he should be good. He's peed. We've got. From what I remember earlier, we've got about a 40-minute ride.
Yeah, I would say like 50 minutes.
Find out.
Let's say.
Yeah, so we should be good. 10 minutes into the ride, Matteo looks at me. He's like, I gotta fucking pee again. I'm like, okay, we're gonna just hold it. He's like, no, I gotta go really bad. And I look over, and he's pinching the head of his dick through his pants, holding it.
That's what I do.
I was like, you really got to go.
The urge.
So I'm like, you really got to go. He's like, yeah, man, I don't know what I'm going to do. And so we Google like how long the trip is left. And it was like 40 minutes. And he was like in pain already. So I was like, all right. So I have a bottle of water. I down my bottle and I have an empty plastic bottle. I'm like, look, we can switch seats. Cause I was on the like side by the window and he was in the aisle. I was like, you can switch seats and you can take care of it. He didn't want to do that. So for the next 5 to 10 minutes, we're having this discussion about what to do and how much pain he's in. Finally, he's like, I'm just going to ask the driver if he can stop. I was like, yeah, if you got to go, you got to go.
Especially because we still had like a good 35 minutes left on the trip. So,
yeah.
You know.
And he was hurting. So Matteos starts to walk up to the front of the bus. And Ramon looks at me and is like, what's going on? I was like, Matteo, I was like, look, he's in a lot of pain right now. Like, he has to pee really bad. And they're like, he just went. I was like, I know, but this is a bad situation.
It's one of those days.
He's really got to go. So Pernille and Sade and Ramon and I are back there talking about Matteo comes back and you can just see it on him. He's in a lot of pain. So I have video of all of this from this point forward, of Matteo coming back, and we all start joking about it, which is helping Matteo. Matteo's in on the joke. And
by the way, the fucking driver told me, no, we're getting close. Well, I knew that we'd still at like 30 minutes. I was like, hey, man, I'm in pain. Like, we got to stop. No, we're getting to the hotel. This fucking asshole. So, you know, I had to resist another 30 minutes.
So Matteo comes back. This is now the entertainment for the rest of the ride. And Matteo was a great
because
trooper.
By this point, everybody knew in the whole bus.
Yeah. Everyone knows Matteo has to pee. So as we're getting close, we're making our plan, our strategy. I'm like, Matteo, when the bus stops, just go. Just the bus driver knows you got to pee. Everyone on the bus knows you got to pee. Just go. Run up to the front and get off and go pee. So we're getting close, and we hit every light was a red light, of course. And we finally get there, and as the bus is coming to a stop, Matteo's up and darting to the front of the bus. Everyone erupts in applause and starts screaming Matteo's name as he exits the bus to go pee. How do you feel about the red light, Matteo?
No good.
Oh, you do?
They have yellow light here.
I'm fine.
I think he got the message and he accelerated the driver. He made it a little faster, probably.
That's cool.
Yeah, we're here, so yeah. Good. This is good. This is really good. I like it.
I like that you're trying to positively reaffirm yourself here. Like you're psyching yourself up.
Yeah. We're here.
You know, it would probably be quicker if you just rolled out the door now and just ran across.
We're at earlier than I planned. You see?
We're here.
It's not that bad.
You're not there yet.
He's gonna stop.
There's another line.
Yeah,
it's just
wait.
The other bus has to empty first.
Speed bumps. Oh, babe.
Oh, this is not good. No good. No good. Red light and speed bumps, no good. No.
But you brought her change of pants, so you're all right.
Yeah, you're right. What? Why didn't you think about it earlier? We're here. Awesome.
What's this guy doing? He's blocking the drive.
I feel like you're making it worse for her on purpose.
Or is she making sure?
She's just making little water noises. Just brake left. That's all I gotta say. Brake left.
I really think you have to get up now.
Oh no!
Oh no! Well, I can ask him just to get out.
Go. He's actually looking back. He's giving you the thumbs up.
No, this time.
He just waved.
Oh, yeah.
Go, Matteo!
The whole bus is turning back. Like, go!
They're rooting for me now.
Yeah.
Like, go, go,
It's the
go!
story of this trip.
Go!
I like how you're stalling yourself. we should give him a round of applause.
Absolutely. So he's the hero. So at this moment, everyone in the bus looked at the crew in the back, and we're like, "You guys are the fun of this trip." We started being called the back of the bus crew. So I'll tell more about the back of the bus. So Matteo gets off the bus. I'm filming myself getting off the bus, walking into the lobby, thinking Matteo really had to go, so he's probably just went right to the lobby bathroom. I go there, he's not there. So then I get a video about 2 minutes later. Matteo in his room. I can't see anything. It's just the wall, but I hear the final release of Matteo's pee and him saying the funniest shit I've ever heard. And everyone's watching this video of him peeing now. So that we got to put in the podcast because it's fucking hilarious. But Matteo, what were you saying?
I just remember.
Oh, brother.
Oh, brother. Yes. This is the sound of resistance. Do you hear this? This is the sound of victory. Yes. It was a long pee, man. Oh my god, I had a lot.
Yeah, it was. So we have all that. So.
Fuck yes. Do you hear this sound, brother? This is the sound of victory. This is the sound of the warriors. This is the sound of the resistance. Fuck, man. I think I'm coming as well. All together. Fuck, man. Yes. Yes. It never ends. Fuck. Woo! I made it.
From that moment on, everyone loved us, and we had a lot of fun. So anytime they bust us somewhere, we were in the back. Also, the massive guys were in the back with us, too. So we had all these people wanting to come sit in the back of the bus, and we got called the back of the bus crew. We were the trouble kids. But we had a lot of fun on that. And then, did we have dinner that night again?
No. I mean, well, somebody did. Yeah, I did. Yeah, we got to the table anyways. You didn't eat, I think, or you ate just a few things here and there, and I had dinner because I didn't have it.
I mean,
at the camp, the desert camp.
If there's food, I'm eating it. And then the next day was the show starting. And Matteo, what did you think of the show?
Okay, so the show, I want to say, amazing job by all the organizers, Fletcher and Momo and Mo and everybody involved. Yeah, they were amazing, and the show looked amazing. We had our own booth,
unreal,
perfect. The stages were amazing. Everything was incredible. The show, in terms of attendees, the show was a little slow, especially during the mornings. The two reasons were, first of all, in the morning it's fucking hot, so nobody's getting out for a convention or anything. So people will come out.
It was outdoors too.
Yeah, it was outdoors. So people will come out at around 4 p.m. or something. And in general, I gotta say, I admire the fact that the chairman for the culture in Abu Dhabi is the guy who wants to, make comic books great there. But it's starting now, so the number of attendees was pretty low in general. It got better on Saturday evening and Sunday evening, to be honest. So, but it's a promising start. But it was right now it's still, it's still a little slower than planned, than I imagine, to be honest with you. But other than that, the show was amazing. Like, well organized. And probably another thing I gotta say, everything was organized almost at the last second. Even announcement for guests and everything, they announced everything. Every guest was announced like 20 to 5 days before the show. So probably that affected. That was a factor probably. What do you think, Shawn?
Sure. Well, yeah, I agree. So I went into the show with a typical mindset for the type of shows we do. Like, we're going to do commissions, we're going to sell art, and it's all about like working and making money. And so the chairman who Matteo mentioned, he's the chairman of Arts and Culture and Tourism of Abu Dhabi. And he has a passion for comics. And what he wants to do is he wants Abu Dhabi to have a comic book culture, a culture of creators, publishers, readers, everything. So he started a publisher with one of the organizers, and the publisher is called Sandstorm. And him and Momo works for them too, run this new publishing venture. And I think Bernard Chang works for them and some other artists. So then they said, once they got the publisher up and running, now we need a convention. So Sandstorm Comics put on a show called Storm the Block, and that's the con we went to. So they tell everyone the show starts at 2 on Friday. They want everyone set up by noon because the chairman's going to come around before the show's open and meet the artists and talk to you and you'll get like some one-on-one time with him. And then we found out, well, at 11 o'clock, the chairman's giving a speech, so you got to be there for that. So we got in there at 9:30. I thought we were just going to set up and then go sit by the pool for a few hours, but everything kept unfolding and we didn't really have time. So we set up, and then the chairman gives his speech to us, which I found really, really moving. And it was just a speech about how important comics are and how important creatives are in this time, and how artists and creatives can bring people together, and there's power in storytelling, and comics is a universal language. It's not limited to a culture. It was a really nice speech. And it kind of like, it sat in my head like, oh, that, never heard a con organizer talk like this. So he explained that this show was for Abu Dhabi to build a comic book culture. So when I heard that, it kind of, my thinking started to shift. I was like, all right, so they really want us here to, like, there were a lot of people were going to come up to your tables and ask questions about art and process. And this was very much about giving an education, being there. Like, we were guests there to pass knowledge forward. So there wasn't really much money to be made, except when the chairman came around. He likes to collect original art published covers. So if you were in that category and you had like Batman covers or X-Men covers or something, he dropped some serious money on you. So those people made some money, but I think that was I think everyone sold a little bit of stuff here and there. So what happens is the show opens and this kid comes up to me. He's been drawing for 2 years. He's older. He's probably about 17 or so, but he's showing real promise, and he's asking great questions, and he just goes down the line from Finch to Ramon to Matteo to me to Brian. And at that moment, it's like it clicked in my head. I was like, oh, this is about art and culture. This isn't about money. So that experience became really awesome for me. And I gave a workshop one night on inking, and there was a girl in the front row, like right in front, like asking questions and really involved. And I just made a note, like, she's really serious about this. And then Matteo's workshop was right after mine on covers. And he asked me if I'd tag team him in his workshop. And I got to say, Matteo, you put together one of the most informative, amazing presentations on what a cover is. I really, will you send me that PDF? I really want that, because as I'm getting into doing more cover work, there's so much information there I need to
thanks,
really
man.
focus on.
It was actually really useful. At first, when they told me to do that workshop, like they told me a week before the show. So I was like, fuck, now I gotta, build a whole workshop on how to make covers. And that was at first my reaction was like, you know what, I'm gonna tell them that I can't do it because I don't have enough time to, because in my head, like I've always done covers by looking at other covers and then trying to learn what makes them cool and just trying to do the same thing with mine, So that was basically it. And in this case, I had to formulate I had to create a whole theory behind it and rationalize what my process was. But at the end, I was like, you know what, fuck it, I'll try and make it. And I ended up really liking the whole process of trying to understand why I do certain stuff instead of certain other stuff, and depending on the cover I have to do. So yeah, it was a nice thing, but we'll probably we'll do something with it maybe along the way. Yeah,
I think we should film like you walking through it, and maybe you should use that somehow. It was so informative, and it just made me realize how ignorant I was when it comes to doing covers. So I definitely want a copy of that PDF. But so in that presentation, that same girl was front and center. So we end the show that day. We have our dinners. The hotel had like a huge buffet, and it was like all different types of cuisines. So we ended up having dinner every night in this buffet with all the artists at different tables. And the only thing you had to pay for was wine. And so we definitely had our share of wine. But that after dinner, we'd all usually go up to the lobby, to the bar, and have a couple drinks. And we're up there, and I see that girl. And so one of the guys who's helping organize the show goes by Momo. And I saw Momo was talking to her, so I kind of pulled him aside. I was like, who is that? Like, what's her story? So this young girl, I'm going to try to pronounce her name, is Mahor. I can't pronounce her last name. But she's Iranian. And where she lives, she's not allowed to have social media. She's not allowed to make comics. In the extreme Muslim views, you're not allowed to draw people. That's considered an act of creation, and that's only for God to do. So so then I come to find out
by the way, the full name is Mahor Porgadim.
Yeah. I mean, I have her card right here. Yeah. So she's very vocal and spends her time fighting for women's rights in Iran, which, from what I heard, so when she tells her story to everyone's just crying. But I can't remember if it was a friend or another student where she goes was fighting for women's rights and got killed for doing so. So this girl is doing a graphic novel about that. And she gets on Instagram. She has a way of like going to a public space using a VPN and getting onto Instagram and posting. So this little girl is like risking her life to do this comic. It's pretty wild. So it just kind of, for me, like this whole trip was kind of like really eye-opening and spiritual in weird ways, where I kind of got back in touch with myself, like, because I've just spent so much time like worried about money, and here I'm like, this is so much bigger than that, and I felt really good about coming back to that realization. And so we spent the weekend just passing knowledge around, not just to the attendees, but amongst each other. And another amazing thing happened, which doesn't happen at cons we go to, is the entire group of artists from around the world. I mean, there was German artists. Pernille lives in Kenya and Africa, and there was the Spanish crew. There were Italians. There were Canadians and Americans. We all hung out together nonstop and all became friends with each other. And it was this amazing, like, coming together of creative community that felt so good to be a part of. Did you feel that, Matteo?
Oh yeah, it was great. It was great. I would say for me, like the highlight is was the camaraderie that formed during that weekend.
I agree.
Definitely.
It was really something special, and it just made me take a step back, because everything I've done has been so business focused that this kind of reminded me there's something bigger at play here, and grounded me in a way I think I really needed it. So I came home feeling great from that. And that we have a text thread on WhatsApp. It's, I don't know how many people on it, 30, 40 artists, and everyone's still talking to each other. So that was pretty amazing. And I sat down with Stelfreeze. I got a quick little lesson from Brian, actually 2 things I'm going to try. And I sat down with Matteo and Matteo's cover workshop was a lesson unto itself, but I also talked to Matteo about thumbnails and composition stuff. So I came back charged.
You know what's funny, Shawn, is that you're describing, we're both describing like the camaraderie as the best thing that happened. And I think that Eric inside is dying by hearing these things. You know, his black soul is having a bad allergic reaction to people happy all together from all around the world.
I think he has us on mute. I don't even think he's hearing us anymore. Look at him. Look at him. He's not. He doesn't hear us. He doesn't hear us. Eric? Are
you hearing? No, his brain muted us as soon as he was hearing the words like friendship, camaraderie. He just like, shut it down. Shut down this nonsense. Shut down this happiness and people getting along with each other. I don't give a shit.
He's going to slowly pull the black hood over his head.
I think you guys are done, right? Are you still talking?
I think Eric's like, thank God I didn't go.
Oh, yeah. From the first second you started telling the whole story. It was like, oh, fuck. Okay, next day. Okay, if they ever invited me, I know what to tell them.
Yeah. So, but they said they invited everyone back next year. So, Eric, gotta go. Mm-hmm. You gotta come.
I don't know if I gotta go, Shawn.
Yeah, you do. You gotta go.
You guys did great telling that story. Something about camels, something about legs instead of arms, something about
but Matteo, I was worried about your prostate, buddy. You peed a lot that weekend.
I don't know what happens. Like,
are you back to normal?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I have it like, I would say couple of days per year. I have one of those days in which I have to constantly pee, and especially if I start drinking a lot. But it's not the first time that I was having a few, but so sometimes that doesn't happen at all. But that wasn't the case this time. I had to constantly pee.
So Matteo left on Monday, and we all went to Dubai on Monday. And Dinesh and Momo organized the whole trip, where in the early part of the day we saw Old World Dubai, and then there's this giant structure in Dubai called the Frame, and if you stand on one side and look through it, you see the Old World, and if you look the other way, you see the New World. And it literally is like, Dubai feels like a science fiction city. It feels like the future. And Abu Dhabi and Dubai, they are amazing with everything they're doing. It's like the con in and of itself. It's like they decided they wanted to have a comic book culture, so that's why they threw this con. So I think the fact that it wasn't attended so highly didn't matter. They're like, this is the start. We're just going to keep doing it. They just have so much money in this part of the world. They can just make shit happen, and it's really impressive. So Dubai was awesome. The Old World felt great and was really cool to see, and then the New World was like science fiction. So it was all great. It was a great trip. All in all, good stuff.
Good job.
I agree. Oh, and by the way, on my flight back home, I had Valentino Rossi. on my plane, like 3 seats ahead of me.
You said that. Who is that? You didn't tell me who that was.
Oh, fuck's sake. Eric, do you know who it is? No, of course you don't, right? Mm-hmm. Oh, it's basically the most
you said that
famous motorcycle pilot, I don't know, rider.
Oh, okay.
In the whole history of motorcycles, basically.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't.
He invented motorcycles.
Yeah, almost.
So
yeah. So he was there with his family and his whole team. And but you don't give a shit. So what the fuck am I telling you the story for?
No, I love it.
Yeah, you sent that text, and I'm like, I don't know who that is. But the thing that happened was they did not let me on my flight home.
Oh shit!
I got
right,
stuck there for
I forgot.
Extra day. Yeah, that sucked. That was rough.
What happened?
So the day before we leave, we all get our boarding passes. Our flight leaves at 10:10 a.m. And the boarding pass says boarding at 8:10 a.m., which is a little peculiar because flights usually board an hour early. The hotel organizes our drivers to take us to the airport, which is only a 10-minute ride. It's very close. So our drivers were going to pick us up at 7:45. So I text Jason. I'm like, Jay, are we going to be okay? It looks like we're going to get there right as boarding starts. And he's like, oh, we're going to be there 2 hours early. I was like, I know, but look at the boarding time and will you ask someone? So Jason asked the hotel who organizes it. They're like, oh, you're fine. I don't know. Oh, we've never seen that. You're fine. Then I get a text from Brian saying, I think we're cutting it a little close tomorrow. I was like, that's what I said, but Jason said we're okay. So then Brian goes through the same thing with Jason. So we get back from Dubai Monday night at like midnight. I pack up. I get to bed at 3. I have my alarm set for 5, which is fine because I'm just wanting to sleep on the plane anyway. And we get to the airport. Jason goes right to security pre-check because he has that. Me and that girl Sade go to where they point us to go to, which is bag check because we've already checked in. And Brian was the last to arrive, forgot his phone in the car, had to wait for the car to come back. So I'm there pretty well in advance of Brian. So Sade and I are in this little tiny line that just isn't moving, and there's people butting in front constantly. We're just like, what is going on? And we get up to the counter. It was only like a 20-minute wait. It wasn't too long. And the guy says, oh, that flight started boarding. We're not accepting bags anymore. This is at 8:12. And our flight is at 10:10. And this is a small airport. And we're like, what do you mean? And they're like, no, it's closed. You can't check your bags. And so they are so slick. Their whole system is designed there. Nobody has to deal with your shit. So he's like, it's okay. I'm going to go over to guest services. They're going to take care of you. You know, what he's not saying is you're not getting on this plane at all. And I'm just sending you over there so they can tell you that. So me and Sade go over there, and there's a woman in front of us who's getting pretty hot, and I'm hearing what she's saying, and I'm realizing, oh, she's dealing with the same shit we are. And she was American. She spoke English fine. So she turns around. I was like, I think we're dealing with the same thing as you. And she's like, they're not letting us on this plane. And she starts getting kind of loud. She's like, and I'm a lawyer. And she gets really vocal. She starts like dropping words like class action lawsuit and
the N-word.
And I'm like,
the F-word.
Yeah, just N-bomb.
just all the words, all the bad words.
So she's getting pretty hot, and I look at Sade, and I'm like, I really don't think we're getting the flight. And I could see her like tears were starting to come out. I was like, don't worry, we'll work this out. So they point us to a manager, and it's just no one budges, and they won't hear a complaint. They're like, well, if you have a complaint, you can file it on our website. And I'm like, all right. So I just turn around. The girl lawyer was she was great. She was this young Puerto Rican Spitfire lawyer. She lived in New York and Puerto Rico, kind of shared her time there. So she gives us her number. She's going off to get a coffee. She's like, let's stay in touch. So I sit down with Sade. I could see she's like having a lot of trouble. I was like, let's take care of this. We call Fletcher. Fletcher is on it. He's like, don't leave yet. We're going to talk to the travel agent. They're going to get you on the flight. And in my head, I'm like, I don't think Fletcher realizes they're not letting us on this flight. But so we waited a little bit, and he comes back, and he's like, he asked for the whole story. We sent him all the texts back and forth because Brian made the plane. I don't understand that part of it. Brian, who arrived later than us, got on the plane. Can't figure that part out. So it was just Sade and I. So once Fletcher realizes they're not letting us on the plane and the airline's taking no responsibility for this and is saying you have to purchase a new ticket, they will not just rebook you. He says, come back to the hotel. We have a car for you. We're getting you new rooms, and we're going to book your flights and deal with them another day. So they get us back to the hotel. They got us new rooms, and they took great care of us. They booked us on a flight. The other thing was when we got up to the counter, the lady was like about getting on another flight. She's like, well, there's only 2 flights to JFK every day, 3:45 a.m. and 10:10 a.m. You just missed the 10:10. So the next flight is 3:45. So Sade and I are like, I don't even know if we can get on that. It's so soon. Like, are we going to be here for a couple of days? We just didn't know anything. But Fletcher got us on that flight for 3:45 a.m. and we're still on no sleep. So we get back to the hotel. We drop our shit in a room. We're like, let's just go have lunch and sit by the pool. And the massive publishing guys were still there because they were leaving late that night. And we're sitting by the pool, and that's when we get the text that Fletcher got us tickets for 3:45. And then he's like, hey, do you guys want to go to SeaWorld? Because there were these theme parks there, and we had every day we had free passes to whatever theme park we wanted to go to. And I didn't go to any just because I was more interested in things like Dubai and seeing other stuff. But we went to SeaWorld, which was fascinating. And we got on a flight and got home a day late. So that part sucked, but we made it.
All that extra drama just so you can come back home.
Yeah.
So,
and the flight home was brutal.
The flight, the flight home was still brutal. Like, it was longer than the flight that you were supposed to be taking in the first place.
So the flight over there is 12 and a half hours. The flight back is 15.
Oh yeah, because you're going. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'd never the longest.
Fly west.
Yeah. So the longest flight I'd ever been on was like 12 hours. So the flight out there, I was like, I've done this, I can do this. But that last 3 hours on the flight was brutal. But when you're on a plane that long, it's like the back of the plane just becomes Thunderdome. Like, people have been sitting there, there's shit everywhere, like trash and blankets and bags. And it's just Thunderdome. And so I got up, like, we had like 5 hours left, and I got up to pee. I go to the bathroom. I'm waiting. Someone comes out, and as the door opens, this mom comes up, this little girl who's covering her mouth. And I'm like, is she okay? She goes, she's going to vomit. I was like, okay, go right ahead. So I walked around. I got the fuck away from that scene. I went to a different bathroom, and I never walked back to that spot. So about 2 hours before we land, Sade has to go. She goes to because she was there. She saw this all happen with me and the little girl. So she goes to the bathroom. She comes back. She goes, remember that little girl? I was like, yeah. She goes, there's vomit everywhere.
Oh,
like,
fuck.
Not just in the bathroom, but on the floor outside of the bathroom. And I was like, I don't want to know this. I'm not going back there ever again. But, we made it home. I land in JFK, and then I've got a fucking 7-hour layover too.
Holy fuck.
I eventually made it home, and all is well. It was a long day, man.
Jesus, I bet it
2
was,
days
man.
Of travel.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Well, sorry to hear that, brother.
I'm alive.
But hopefully,
dude, it was worth it. That trip was incredible. That trip was
incredible. Was it though? No, I'm kidding.
Was it though?
All right, kids, that's an hour. Thank you for telling me that story.
We did it.
I felt like I was there with you guys.
Eric hated every second of it.
I felt like I was there right next to you, cursing at camels and almost peeing my pants.
Well, Eric, when you come back from the Philippines in late January, how long are you gonna be? How much time are you gonna be spending over there?
A couple of weeks, starting mid-January.
Okay, so in February,
visiting my mom.
In February, we'll record an episode. It's gonna be the Filipino special, and you're gonna be telling us
Yeah.
About your old trip.
It's going to be just as interesting as this conversation.
I think Eric's saying this was a really dull episode.
That's what you said. I said it was an interesting conversation.
I think you're being sarcastic.
I gotta eat. Hit the stop button. Right. We'll talk to you later.
Okay. Oh, that's right. I'm in control. I'm in control. All right. Thanks for watching. This is the Inkpulp podcast. This is the Inkpulp podcast. Comics, hip hop, life.
Yo, the price of games rise up, stand the price, the loss of legs. My occupation, in essence, not complacent. Block the banquet, stop the computation. I'ma make the coda, fools just wanna make the quota. They can't rock around here, they need baking soda. This a hydra, no way they taking over. Lay them below the basement with snakes.